What secrets lie buried in the shadows of time?
When we picture the birth of human civilization in ancient Mesopotamia, we usually imagine a world built by men. We picture bearded kings issuing edicts from sprawling palaces and monumental architecture like the Great Ziggurat of Ur piercing the desert sky. But there is a flaw in this top-down view of history. Royal decrees and thick palace walls do not actually generate the immense wealth required to sustain an empire. Kings conquer, but they do not produce. To find the actual economic engine of the Bronze Age, you have to look away from the royal courts. The real power center of this era was the ordinary private home. These domestic spaces functioned as highly complex, dual-layered realities. Upstairs, women ran lucrative international monopolies, while just below the floorboards, a supernatural battle for survival raged in the dirt. To understand who truly controlled the ancient world, we have to ignore the kings entirely, walk past the palace guards, and step inside the everyday family household. Nearly 4,000 years ago, Assyrian merchants built a vast international trade network. Husbands frequently left their homes for months or even years at a time, traveling hundreds of miles by donkey caravan to distant trade colonies, like this sprawling settlement at Kultepe in central Anatolia. The wives left behind in cities like Assur were operating as the chief executives of a massive international industry. They managed industrial-scale textile production directly from their homes. Women organized the procurement of raw wool, managed networks of hired laborers, and mastered highly technical threading methods using tools like this carved bone spindle whorl. They were effectively running decentralized factories centuries before the concept of a factory even existed. These textiles were the prized luxury standard of the ancient world. They were the sought-after export that the entire long-distance trade system relied upon to exchange for silver and tin. Because this wealth was generated privately, entirely within the domestic sphere, it remained outside the direct control of the state. The king had no authority over these household factory floors. Elite women used that financial independence to accumulate capital. They issued their own loans, negotiated complex trade contracts, and invested their personal profits into outfitting new foreign caravans. The entire international trade network and the financial stability of the Mesopotamian Empire itself rested on the shoulders of this localized, female-controlled domestic industry. But while the living quarters above were a bustling hub of international finance, there was another reality buried in the dirt directly beneath the floors. In ancient Mesopotamia, families literally lived on top of their dead. Deceased ancestors were buried in tombs constructed right under the floorboards of the active household. As this diagram shows, the Mesopotamian afterlife was a dim underworld located right beneath the living. To survive, wandering spirits relied on regular offerings poured through the earth. If the oldest son failed to maintain these offerings while the husband was away, the starving dead would break out to demand what they were owed. A haunting brought physical consequences. Ghosts would rise to terrify the living, pull faces, stick out their tongues, and cause severe illnesses within the home. When this happened, families did not call on priests to pray for their spiritual salvation. They hired an asipu, a highly specialized medical professional who acted as an exorcist and physician to drive off the supernatural entities using objects like this bronze Pazuzu amulet. Ancient texts, like the Old Babylonian Evil Demons Tablet 11, prove that Mesopotamians viewed ghosts as specific medical ailments, curable through highly bureaucratic magical prescriptions. Defending the home against rogue ancestors was considered as routine and essential to household survival as balancing the international trade ledgers. To a Mesopotamian, these two extremes, managing international finance upstairs and performing ghost exorcisms downstairs, were simply two equal halves of basic household maintenance. This shifts our understanding of the era's legacy. The fragile clay tablets of everyday life document the logistical reality of survival, carrying historical weight that stone monuments often ignore. The civilization was sustained by ordinary women independently financing foreign trade and families executing precise medical rituals to keep the dark at bay. The true architects of the Bronze Age operated behind closed doors. The private household stood as the most powerful institution in the ancient world.